As a crop was first introduced in 1908 from India, and the first garden was established in Entebbe Botanical. That was in 1909, and it was not until the late 1920s when the first successful plantation was established in Uganda by a British national called Brock Bonds. So after that, in 1924, we got the first successful establishment of tea in Uganda. And then from that time, expansive growth of tea as a crop continued in Uganda. And this prompted the creation of the Tea Research Institute of East Africa. And in 1960, Rebitaba Tea Research Station, where we are now, became one of the branches of Tea Research Institute in East Africa. And then this same station, Rebitaba, became the main breeding center of tea research in Uganda and also East Africa at large. In 1977, after the collapse of the East African community, effective tea research ended in Uganda, and by 1978, Rebitaba Tea Research Station was no longer the breeding center of East Africa, and it was handed over to Ugandan government. From that time, tea research crossed hands. In 2003, the National Coffee Resource Research Institute care took with the maintenance of the place. In 2007, the National Crops Resource Research Institute took place, and then it also now started maintaining the place. Now it was not until 2011 when the National Agricultural Research Organization declared Rebitaba as a fully fledged institute for the Western Island Agroecological Zone. That's when effective tea research started. Right from 1977, we didn't have effective tea research in the country, and those are up to around 34 years. So Rebitaba, when it started being operational, it constituted the tea research and development program. And as of 2015, we were able to recruit more scientists. And as of now, tea research, we have 2 breeders. These are the people, scientists who are working on coming up with the new tea clones, or what people can call varieties in Uganda. And their work simply involves coming up with varieties that are tolerant to the existing conditions. For example, yield, they want to come up with varieties which are high yielding, resistant to drought, pests and diseases. Then we have an agronomist. This one is in charge of looking at how to improve the management. He is doing research on management of tea so that farmers can still realize more yields. Then we have a soil fertility scientist. She's in charge of soil fertility because tea as a crop requires nutrients in the soil. So her research is targeting fertilizer recommendation rates for tea in Uganda. Then we have a pathologist, basically is looking at the tea diseases, and among them we have Zaire and malaria. They are the key diseases which give hard time to our tea. Then we also have an entomologist, is looking at the different tea pests. Remember, for tea we are interested in the leaves, so is looking at how those pests can be effectively controlled, so that information can be relayed to farmers. We have a scientist who is in charge of value addition. Remember, for tea, to fetch more money, you need to add value to it. I'll talk about it later. Then we have one who is specifically for gender. We want to see how ladies, the youth, can be incorporated into tea as a commodity. Then also lastly, we are looking at the climate. The climate is changing, so we are doing research which is responsive in line to climate. Tea in Uganda is the 3rd leading export earner. That means money. It brings foreign exchange to Uganda. And it's on record for the last years, it has brought in close to 90 to 104. It oscillates between 90 and 104 million US dollars. So Because of that opportunity, it prompted the government to revive tea research. Now, when it comes to challenges that precipitated tea research, one basically is about what they call tea production constraints. Farmers who are growing tea in Uganda are facing different challenges. And these are the challenges which precipitated us to come on board to revive tea research. Key among them is the low genetic potential. The varieties we have since 1977 are old varieties, and they are low yielding. That's why we came on board to start breeding work of tea so that we can come up with high yielding tea clones. Number two is the issue to do with the pests. Now, pests attack the leaves, for example, red spider mites and yellow spider mites. Now, these ones reduce the quality of tea. So that's why that challenge also prompted us to go into research. The effect of diseases I talked about it, Xylella and Armillaria. Armillaria causes the rotting of the tea. Xylella, the plant dries gradually. So you get gaps within the farmer fields. So the challenge of diseases also prompted us to do research. Then there are challenges of poor seed systems. Farmers don't have clear sources where they can get good improved tea materials. So we are working on that as Rebitaba. Then the production costs are so high. We want to come up with labor-saving production technologies as research. All those compounded together, the production constraints, not forgetting agronomy. The issue is to do with spacing. How many tea plants are supposed to be in an acre? How do you pluck to maintain quality? All those issues precipitated us to do tea research in Uganda. Some of the achievements we have got in research, remember I talked about for the last 3 decades, we have not been having effective research. But through the government's support, under the Ministry of Agriculture, Animal Industries and Fisheries, the National Agricultural Research Organization got money from ATAS project, Agricultural Technology and Advisory Service, Agribusiness and Advisory Services. Now, for the first time, we have been able to use ATAS funds to revive tea research in Uganda. One of the achievements we have got is right now, we know what's in our gene bank. The gene bank, you can equate in layman's language to the bank of money, like Bank of Uganda. Now, this gene bank, we have got funding from government, and as far now, we can tell that we have 2 different clusters or groups of the tea clones or lines in Uganda. These groups are the ones which breeders use to come up with the new varieties. Remember, in the gene bank, you have different lines of tea. So what the breeder simply does, they look at the genetic diversity. They get one line of tea which is resistant to drought, one which is high yielding, they cross them up, we get a good new variety of tea which is giving us good yield and at least tolerant to drought or still tolerant to diseases. So we have achieved a lot in terms of genetic diversity, so we know what's in the gene bank, and we are continuing with this activity across all the tea growing districts in Uganda so that we know how diverse is our tea, so that we can be able to cross them up, and we are able to address the production challenges farmers are facing. Then too, we have also been able to do research directed towards the biochemical properties of teas we have in Uganda. We have also been able to come up with new prototypes of tea under research. What we have done in Ugandan market, mostly people are looking at black tea. But as Naro, we have started the breeding whereby we are targeting specialized teas. So we have clones from China which can produce green tea. So with the time, farmers will be able to access those clones and make green tea, because green tea is healthy and they can fetch more money. They can diversify and make white tea and other specialty teas. We have tested them here at research station, and they are now going to be rolled out to farmers. We have also been able to identify the pathogens that are causing these diseases, which are causing the drying of tea and the rotting of the tea leaves. The pathology has worked on that. Our entomologists the one who works on pests, has come up with an experiment whereby he has been able to identify which pesticide can be effective to control the major pests and pests of tea. And then also we have done research on fertilizer recommendations. So far our findings are showing if you apply 60 grams of fertilizer per bush, you can get economical yields. Then we have also been able to come up with dissemination materials. We have come up with several brochures guiding farmers how to handle nursery work in tea, guiding farmers how to establish plantations of tea, guiding farmers how to bring the tea field into bearing, how can you pluck so that you get quality tea. All that information, we have the brochures, leaflets and posters, and we have disseminated them to farmers at different forums during farmer field days, during agricultural shows in Jinja, and also during World Food Days, and any interaction we get with the farmers. We have also done documentaries before. This is not the first one with UBC. We have aired the tea growing documentary in Uganda, and it was part of UBC News Guide. You can see how we guided on tea growing. So we have done all those, and more is yet to come.
On tea research, we are even having best performing crones, which can be taken up by the farmers to make nurseries as a business. We have best performing crones like Cron 303 stroke 577, which can give the farmer 7.8 tons per hectare. It is the best cron. We are having it here at Rwebitaba Tea Research. They can come, they get cuttings, they go and make nursery work as the business. Nursery operators who have been collaborating with them, some of them have been coming, getting materials from here, where they are making nursery operation as the business. So far, a tea seedling can make a farmer gain roughly 500 shillings, meaning that a farmer, if the farmer is having 10,000 seedlings, the farmer will move away with 5 million from 10,000 seedlings. So farmers can work with us. We give them technical backstopping. We train them in nursery management, both at the station, and we can even give them service wherever they are going to operate their nurseries from. So that is what we are doing. We have best crones, around 5 crones, which are recommended by NARO. They can come and take up this chance which is there, and they do nursery operation as their business.
2, there are people whom they call pluckers. Those ones earn money every 2 weeks because the estate companies employ pluckers, even individual farmers, so that they pluck. Because for tea you pluck every 7 to 14 days. You keep on plucking, and every 2 weeks they are paid money. So they are able to take their kids to school, improve their way of living through tea. So 1 million Ugandans have benefited from this commodity, and economically as a community around and Uganda at large, it has touched job creation and also bringing in foreign exchange earning.
First of all, what is plucking? Plucking is a routine removal of tea leaves from a tea bush. And you can ask a question, why do we pluck? First of all, we pluck for commercial reasons. We pluck a tea and take it to the factory. We sell it, we earn money. The second reason why we do pluck, we pluck in order to maintain a plucking table. And the plucking table, it is here. The plucking table, it is here on top of a tea bush. So we use a tea plucking wand. This is called a tea plucking wand to pluck. This one assists us to pluck good tea leaves. And good tea leaves are one leaf and a bud, like this one. This is one leaf and a bud. And this one is 2 leaves and a bud. This is a good leaf for plucking. So we pluck 2 leaves and a bud, and one leaf and a bud. This is 2 leaves and a bud. A bud is this one, and 2 leaves are these ones. And now, farmers do make mistakes. They pluck 3 leaves and a bud and 4 leaves and a bud, and which is dangerous. So you can see here, a farmer can pluck 3 leaves and a bud and a stalk, and the hard stalk. This is a hard stalk, and this is what we call coarse leaf. I don't know.
The value addition that the business community can look for in tea research, it's now also a bit interesting because the market for tea has been looking at black tea, the majani we put in our tea, in our cups and stuff. So it's on record that currently 19 billion cups of tea are drunk daily worldwide. So that's already the market. And every Ugandan who takes a cup of tea every morning, you are contributing to that statistics of 19 billion cups of tea. And this is what I'm saying. Besides the black tea which we have been selling, the business community can make a kill of money from specialized teas. For example, green tea. Very few people are venturing into green tea. We import green tea from China at a higher cost, but still people can process green tea using small cottage industries and create employment. That's one niche. Other specialized teas like white teas, they fetch money in serious dollars. We have also purple tea, which with time researchers will get from Kenya and also we improve it here. So the prospect for business people to make money from tea is enormous if they go into specialized teas and they leave black tea, because specialized teas, they have health benefits and they fetch premium price on the world market and also within the country, Uganda.
We have green tea we are making. Green tea is different from black tea. Green tea does not go through the fermentation process of the factory, meaning that it has retained all the medicinal values in it. The medicinal values which are in green tea, mainly green tea regulates chances of diabetes, heart diseases, cancer, and it even strengthens the memory. And mainly it works as the brain booster. So green tea, for it does not go that process of fermentation and it retains the medicinal values in it. Why do we regard it as green tea? It has got a specific clone that gives it better, which is China tea. We have China tea here, as you see for it, it has got smaller leaves compared to other clones of tea, meaning that for it, it has high medicinal values in it. And when we are picking it, we pick what is recommended. We pick 2 leaves and a bud. 2 leaves and a bud. The smaller the leaves is the high percentage of the medicinal values you will be having in the finished product when you finish processing it. This thing has got 100 grams and it can be sold at 10,000 Uganda shillings. Meaning that at the end of the day, if the farmer can take up this innovation, you find that the farmer is getting 100,000 from 1 kilogram. So we have come up with this innovation for farmers to take up, such that they can also make business. They can produce it and make business in the open market in the country.
How it has contributed to the economic development of Uganda as a whole is an interesting story in short. One, tea is the third most income earner for Uganda. It oscillates between coffee and fish. And I said earlier, for the past years, it has contributed between 90 to 104 million US dollars. Now the country has been earning money from tea as Uganda. Two, tea has been able to provide livelihoods to close to 1 million Ugandans. That means out of our population, if only one commodity like this can help people improve their livelihoods, it has really done a good contribution. And this is what has happened. The 1 million people I'm talking about who have benefited directly or improved their livelihoods via tea, they are people who are in tea nursery business. Every 9 to 12 months after a year, they are able to sell their tea seedlings, either to other government agencies like NADS or to other fellow farmers.